Hello, I'm Professor Layla Halas.
And I'm Professor Lindsay Harris.
And we're happy to share with you 2 client interviewing videos that we've developed. In the videos, 2 clinic partners, Lisa and Max, will conduct 2 initial client interviews of 2 very different clients. Josefina is a woman who is applying for a U visa for victims of serious crimes, and Victor is a teenager who hopes to apply for asylum.
Because Victor speaks English, that interview will be conducted solely in English. But Josefina is a monolingual Spanish speaker, so you'll see the students in the video must use interpretation. In doing so, Lisa and Max struggle with some of the problems and challenges that attorneys and students face in conducting initial interviews, working with interpreters and partners. At times, they make mistakes. At other times, they do a pretty decent job.
And when you notice a choice that the students have made, whether it be how they frame a question, their tone, their body language, or how they work together, it's an opportunity for you and your classmates to yell out stop and to pause the video. Then as a class, you can raise issues and reflect on how you might do things differently.
We hope you enjoy the videos and good luck with your real clients.
Well, do you think he's coming?
He's only, 10 minutes late? I'll give some more time. Probably took the bus, which, takes forever.
What, should we text him?
You can text him. I am not giving out my cell phone number.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Hey. Yes. Awesome. Super cool. Yeah, I'll be right down. Yeah, tell him I'm on my way. Thanks. He's outside the building. I'm gonna go grab him. Be right back.
Okay.
Man, I totally thought Brazil was gonna take France in the semifinals.
I know, right?
Victor? I'm Lisa. I will be working with Max on your case.
Hey, man. Go ahead and have a seat.
Well, actually, you can sit wherever you would like. Where would you feel most comfortable? Oh, we have tissues and water. Did you eat?
Thanks.
Well, welcome to our clinic. We're actually law students, and we will be working on your immigration case this semester.
Actually, we're studying to become lawyers, and this is a practical application that we're doing while we're in school. We are working with some super awesome attorneys, and they know immigration law inside and out.
Right. What do you know about the immigration system?
Not much. I know I had court once before already.
Right. You had a master calendar hearing where you spoke before an immigration judge. Looks like you have another one of those in 2 weeks, so we'll need to prepare you for that for sure.
But first, let's get to know him a little bit. He was telling me on the way up here that you like to watch and play soccer, right?
Oh, cool. What position do you play?
Forward. I like to score the goals.
Yeah. I actually played a little bit of defense in high school throughout undergrad, but I'm sure I stand no chance against you.
Super cool. And his team, Barcelona.
Barcelona? Oh my goodness, they are so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you are originally from Honduras, right?
Yes, that's my country.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what's it like there?
It's a beautiful place. I grew up in a tiny village. It was a really special place. Things got bad towards the end, but I still have a lot of good memories when I was a kid. And the food! Food is so good.
I'll bet. Who cooked the food in your home?
My mother. She's not with me now.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What happened to your mother?
Well, we crossed the border together. She's been in jail since.
Okay, where's she being held?
Somewhere in Pennsylvania. I don't like to talk about it.
I'm so sorry. I know it's difficult. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Well, we have a ton of other things to talk about. We actually prepared a little agenda for you to try to make sure that we get through everything that we had hoped to talk with you about today. Maybe if there is anything that you want to tell us, or anything that's on your mind that's worrying you.
Well, yeah. My younger sisters are still in Honduras. They're still in school, and they really need money. Well, I live with my uncle. My mother is still in jail. I have to be the one that sends them money.
I can imagine. That must be pretty difficult.
And I don't know if I can work in this country without my papers in order.
That's actually a great question. A tricky question and very complicated. Let's see. I mean, you're 18, right? Oh, well, you can definitely work. And he's an asylum seeker, so you can definitely work legally. I mean, that shouldn't be a big problem.
Well, hang on a second, actually. I think I remember something where when you're seeking asylum, there's a period of time after you apply where you actually can't work.
Yeah, I think they told me I have to wait 6 months before I can apply for a permit.
Right, 180 days.
I can't wait that long. What happens if I start working without the permit?
Well, honestly, dude, everybody here works without a permit.
But we don't want you to have any issues with your legal case. So how about we speak with our professors about it, and then we'll have an answer for you next time we meet.
Okay, thank you, but can I ask the lawyer in my situation what I should do about it? What do you think, Max?
Well, if I were you, I'd work.
Well, I think we'll actually need to speak with our professors about it. And just to clarify things, both Max and I are law students, and we work with a really awesome team of lawyers, our professors. We're actually going to need to speak with them, get their advice, so that when we meet with you next time, we can give you a full answer, okay?
It's probably a better idea.
I forgot. I was supposed to ask if I could record this. Like I said, we're law students, so being able to record would help us to remember things later. It would help us to focus so we're not looking down, taking notes the entire time.
Yeah, totally. Victor, is it okay with you if I have my laptop up? It's easier for me while we're talking, if I can type,
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. I'll start recording.
Okay. All right, great. So, unless you have any more questions, great. We'll get back to our agenda. So, we can see here that you were planning, we got to know you, we looked at your documents that you brought with you, we definitely want to take a look at those. We'll get talking about the asylum process and basically about what happened to you in Honduras. Sound good?
Yes, they did give me these when I got out of detention.
Cool. Great. Make a copy of these right now, and we'll go over the details later. Lisa, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, actually, Max, if you wouldn't mind, could you make the copies, please? I did all of those documents before. Plus, it would give me an opportunity to sit and chat with Victor and get to know him a little bit better. Thanks.
Sure. Great.
So, Victor, tell me a little bit more about Honduras. I have a little brother and a little sister.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right,
Max.
man, Victor, there is your original back, and we are going to keep the copies. Did you guys get into substance?
Oh, no, we're waiting on you for that. So we were just about to talk about the asylum process. Do you want to cover that, or should I?
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, just jump in if I miss anything.
Got it.
So, for those people who are actually afraid to return to their home country because of fear of persecution, you can actually apply for protection called asylum, withholding of removal, or relief under the Convention Against Torture.
Oh, the judge did say something about asylum.
Yeah, asylum, it's where you're too scared to go back to your own country out of fear that something's going to happen to you, or you feel that something's going to happen to you in the future.
You will actually apply for asylum using I-589, this form. I-589, have you seen that form before?
No.
It's okay. We'll help you figure it out. We'll help you answer all the questions. It just really asks questions about where you went to school, where you lived, what happened in Honduras, and why you can't go back.
can't go back to Honduras.
Oh, absolutely not. And that's why we're going to work with you on this asylum claim. This form, that's just the first step. And then we are going to try to, we're going to get that filled out and submit to you at your court date in 2 weeks.
Okay. All right, so on that day, what we're gonna do is give the form to the judge, and he'll probably give us another court date to come back and present evidence. That might be a long time from now, maybe even after the semester.
Semester?
Oh, that's what we call school terms here. Like this one is from August to December. We have exams, and then you and I, we're done with this clinic. This class is this clinic is a class for us, and then Lisa and I are done. And you might end up working with other students, or maybe even our professor.
Yeah, the professor told me that.
Okay.
Hey, I think we forgot confidentiality.
Oh, yeah, so Victor, we're sorry. We forgot to mention this at the beginning. We were actually supposed to discuss confidentiality with you. Confidentiality. It means that everything that we discuss here is 100% private. We are actually ethically required to keep this between us. We won't discuss it with anyone else.
But we can share it with our professor and our classmates, because sometimes we do actually talk about your case with our class as a group.
Okay. What about my uncle?
Your uncle that you live with.
Yes.
Yeah. No. We can't discuss anything with him. Everything that you say in this room stays within this clinic.
Yeah.
We're like a little law firm.
Okay.
Okay, so where were we? We were talking about your asylum application and how you get another court date to present evidence, and then you'll have the opportunity to tell your story to the judge, and then at that time, oh yeah, the government will have a lawyer there too, and at that time the judge will determine if they're going to grant asylum or not.
What if I lose?
Hey, that's not going to happen. And even if you did, you can appeal it. And I am sure that our professors will stick out with you. And maybe we can do the appeal for you and with you.
Well, actually, the retainer agreement just says the immigration court case, so we'll actually have to see about that. But one thing that is really important to know is that you would not be immediately deported. You do have, you have 30 days to file an appeal.
Okay.
But before we get to that point, we want to try and do everything we can to win in immigration court before the judge the first time around.
Yep.
So that's why we have a lot of work to do.
Yes, so the first thing is we really need to know what happened in Honduras and why you left.
I left because I was in danger.
Absolutely, and we'll need to ask you some more questions about that. And we'll actually be doing some additional things, like maybe speaking with the expert about conditions in Honduras, maybe sending you to a medical doctor if you have any scars on your body, a psychologist, maybe even getting some other people that you might know to be witnesses about what happened in Honduras.
I don't have any scars.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So before we get into all this, how do you feel about maybe telling us a little bit more about how this all started back in Honduras?
Yeah, I can try.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Sorry about that. I'm not going to use the computer. And since Lisa's taking notes, I'm sure we'll be fine. So, Victor, tell us about when your problems started in Honduras.
Well, the gangs started bothering me when I was a little kid.
Which gang? Can you tell us exactly?
I was maybe 10 or 11 when it all started.
Yeah? Okay.
When what started exactly?
When they started bothering me.
Okay. When you say bothering, what do you mean?
They were following me to school. They were harassing me. They would call me names. They would say mean things.
Okay, like what type of stuff would they say or
Like-
yell at you?
Like, kid, we know you ain't got no papa.
I know that can be hard for a little kid.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us which gang they were from? Like M18, MS13?
Mara Salvatrucha.
Okay. And how did you know they were gang members?
Everyone knows. The way they dressed, the way they talked.
Okay. And how many of them would typically approach you?
I don't know, maybe 2 or 3?
Did any of them ever physically harm you?
Yeah. They beat me up, but they've done much worse.
Oh, wow. They beat you up? I'm sorry to hear that. Can you tell us what they did to you?
It's okay, man. Hey, I get this stuff is hard to talk about. It's okay to cry.
I'm not crying for myself. I had a friend, Felipe Manuel. He was more like a brother to me. He was my best friend.
And did something happen to Felipe Manuel?
Yes. They killed him right in front of my eyes.
Victor, I can't even imagine.
It must be so hard. How old were you when this happened?
I was 15. September 24th. I'll always remember that day.
Of course. Well, it seems like it's really hard for you to share this with us. You need a break?
Never told anyone about Felipe Manuel before.
Yeah, and thank you very much for sharing. We're probably going to need to ask you a few more questions about this. Is that something you're okay doing now, or you want to do it a future time?
It's okay, I can talk about it now.
I appreciate you being brave. Who killed Felipe Manuel?
It was actually M18, and they thought he was MS.
Was he?
No.
I know it's really hard to avoid gang recruitment as a teenage boy in Honduras. It's okay if he was a gang member.
No, he wasn't. Well, he did sell drugs for MS.
Wow, he sold drugs?
So they thought he was a member. Is that why they had him killed?
Yeah. I think so. They shot him in the street. And after that, I had no one to protect me from the gangs.
So you're saying things got worse from there?
Yeah, things got worse. I mean, they stayed the same, and then Antonio showed up.
And who is Antonio? Is he a gang member?
Yes. He's a gang member.
Okay, and which gang?
M18, he was the leader of that gang.
Okay, so now you're saying M18 wanted to recruit you too?
Hold on, let's back up a minute. You said Antonio showed up. What do you mean by that?
He showed up at our house. He said he was... when her mom was gone.
Where was your mom?
She's been in the U.S. for about 3 years.
Okay, wow. So was anyone there with you kids?
A neighbor lady did cooking and washing for us, and she stayed with us during the week.
Okay, so what happened when Antonio showed up?
Well, that's when everything changed. That was the beginning of the end.
Okay, so what do you mean when you say that?
That's when things got really bad.
Well, can you maybe tell us how?
At first, Antonio seemed nice. He said he was a friend of my mom's in the U.S. and he wanted to come and visit us. He brought us some candies. He seemed like a nice guy.
Okay.
But then the next time he came to our house, he'd been drinking. He wasn't so nice. He wanted me to call him Papa. He wanted my sister to cook for him. He had a gun and 2 other men who stayed with him outside of the house.
That actually sounds really scary.
Yes, it was. We didn't know who this man was. He started coming at all hours, day or night, sleeping here. He started demanding things from us.
And what kind of things would he demand?
He wanted me to deliver envelopes for him.
You know what was in the envelopes?
No.
What do you think was in them?
I don't know. Maybe drugs, something illegal. I didn't want to do it, but I didn't do what Antonio wanted.
Victor? What happened when you didn't do what Antonio wanted?
That's why I can't go back to Honduras. That's why I can never go back. That's when he started to hurt me. Oh man, this is my uncle who lives with me. He said he was gonna call when he finished his appointment uptown, and he needed to take me home. I have to leave now.
Oh, I'm so sorry you have to leave so soon, Victor. But I do want to take just one more minute, please, so I can make sure you understand what's happening next.
Okay, just a minute.
Okay, great. So this was just our first meeting, so we will need to schedule a follow-up appointment just, so that you understand what's going to continue to happen. We will want to plan to meet regularly from now until December, maybe even once a week. Because we really do want to get that asylum application filed soon. Our goal is to file the asylum application. That's what we're going to do. And then you may work with some other students. Now, we have your phone number, but are there other ways to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and my uncle has a number too.
Okay, great. Write that down, please. Great. Well, we will call you in a few days to schedule your next appointment. I'll discuss anything that you might have raised today, any questions that you might have, and we're definitely really glad to be working with you.
Sure, thanks.
Thank you, Victor. We'll see you soon. By the way, I want to thank you for calling Josefina to set up the interview, because it was going to seem super complicated, being as I don't speak Spanish.
No problem. It was easy. And when I mentioned needing an interpreter, she said she could bring one along, so. Looks like they're running a little late, actually. Hola, hola. Hola. Hola, me llamo Lisa.
Hola, placer.
Hablamos por teléfono ayer. Yo soy uno de los estudiantes que va a trabajar con ustedes. Vengan.
Gracias.
Hola, Max. No Spanish.
Déjeme presentarle a mi compañero Max que va a trabajar con nosotros.
Nice to meet you, Max. I'm Josefina's brother.
Oh, thank you very much for being here and helping with the interpretations.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Mucho gusto.
Guys, please have a seat. Miguel, please, yeah, let her know she's welcome.
Gracias. Yo sé que no tiene mucho tiempo hoy, así que vamos a empezar, ¿ok? Nuestra profesora nos dijo que quiere solicitar una visa U porque fue la víctima de un crimen. ¿Sí? Queremos hacerle una pregunta sobre eso y también ver si tiene preguntas para nosotros.
Sí, tengo preguntas.
Okay.
Necesito empezar a trabajar para mantenerme. Mi hermano Miguel me ha estado manteniendo, pero necesito aportar algo. ¿Cuánto tiempo se tarda el proceso?
Bueno.
I'm sorry, Miguel. Can you please make sure that everything that is said in Spanish is repeated word for word, and also that everything that I or Lisa say is in English?
Oh, hey, not a problem. She just wants to know how long the process is going to take.
That is a very important question, and I'm sorry to say that process can take a long time. The first step is to figure out if we can actually help her apply. And then we have to gather enough evidence to build a strong case. And then, once we're able to complete the application for the U visa, it can take the immigration agency many years to make a final decision.
Okay, dice que el proceso puede tardar mucho tiempo.
Miguel, we forgot to mention this earlier, but in the interview there are some best practices for interpretation. That means, using first person instead of third person. So when I, Max, or Josefina use the first person, then you use the first person instead of saying he said or she said. Okay? And also, try to repeat what we say exactly word for word instead of summarizing. We can talk in shorter sentences if that helps. Does that make sense?
Truthfully, not really, but I'll try.
Oh, this may help too. We have some ground rules here for interpretation, and I'll speak in English so it's less confusing.
Josefina, As mentioned earlier, we want to talk a little bit about the crime that you suffered so we can understand if you can apply for the U visa.
Quieren hablar sobre el crimen que sufriste para ver si puedes aplicar por la visa U.
Miguel, here's a pen and paper. This actually might help with the interpretation. Maybe so you don't forget anything. And also, please remember to use the first person when we do.
Today, we plan to ask just a few questions. We want to understand about your life before you came to the U.S. and to understand a few details of the crime that you suffered here in the U.S.
Quieren hacerles algunas preguntas para entender su vida antes de llegar a los Estados Unidos y entender algunos detalles sobre el crimen que sufriste.
Josefina, U visas are for people who have suffered a lot because they have been victims of a specific crime here in the United States. We need to find out a few details of what happened to you to see if you fit within those U.S. requirements.
Las visas U son para personas que han sufrido mucho, han sido víctimas de un crimen específico aquí en los Estados Unidos y necesitan algunos detalles sobre lo que le pasó a usted para ver si cae bajo de los requisitos para sacar la visa U.
Before we hear more of your story, Josefina, I wanted to clear up a couple things we were unclear about on your intake sheet.
Dice que antes de escuchar más de tu historia, quieren saber quieren aclarar una cosa que pusiste en tu forma.
Yeah, it says here that you suffered domestic violence for many years from your husband in El Salvador. I'm really sorry to hear that. One more thing that's really important about the U visa is that it depends on the crime that was suffered here in the in los Estados Unidos and the United States. But the only thing we have right here is a police report. It's attached, but it only mentions your roommate, Carla. Was the fight with Carla the only time you found a police report here in the United States, or was your husband ever here in the U.S.?
Están preguntando por la violencia doméstica y a ver si hizo un reporte con la policía aquí. Look, I know the answer to that. Right? The only time that she called the cops here was when she had the issue with her roommate, Carla. The stuff with her husband, that happened in El Salvador. She wouldn't have called the cops here. Plus, the police over there in El Salvador, they don't care about women.
Okay, but we really need to clear this up. Josefina, can you tell us a little bit more? What exactly was your relationship with Carla?
Relationship? What do you mean when you say relationship? Are you trying to say that my sister was with Carla? My family doesn't do things like that.
Oh, okay, how about we take a little break? Yeah, we just need to review some of the stuff we have on our documents, look over some things a little bit. Why don't you guys maybe take a break for a few minutes, get some water, use the restroom?
Yeah, I think we need to take a break.
This is not going well. His comment was super messed up.
Yeah. Maybe we should have had a conversation with him before. God, he's so terrible. Adding things, summarizing things, explaining stuff, using the third person. You know, the worst part is I don't think Josefina could be really comfortable with her brother in there. And it's not even really confidential.
Well, now we have to decide where do we go next. Do we cancel the meeting? You could be the interpreter. What do you think about that?
I don't know about that. It's I feel like we really ought to respect Josefina's time and build a strong relationship, but I feel like canceling might undermine that. But also, if you're the one asking all the questions and then I'm just the interpreter, and I think that also undermines me as her representative. Maybe we could get one of those volunteer interpreters. Our professor posted that list of bilingual volunteers online. What do you think?
Great idea.
Yeah? Okay.
Come on, let's go.
Okay. Hi, David. Thank you so much for making time for us last minute today. We really appreciate it. So before we go back into the interview, we wanted to review some best practices with you to make sure we work together well. Does that sound okay?
Of course. I've heard some of this before, but I'm a little new to this.
Okay. Well, I text you a one-pager for your reference, but the most important thing is to translate everything. Use the first person I and second person you instead of he said or she said. Even if you're tempted, don't add anything or try to explain something that doesn't seem clear, or leave off anything because you think it's not important. Also, make sure it's a full and accurate interpretation. Also, it's really important not to have side conversations with us or with the client. So even if you don't understand what she says, interpret as much as possible and then say you need to clarify a word. Even if you think you know the answer because of something maybe that was said before, never answer for the client. Okay, so please feel free to ask the client maybe to pause, repeat, or slow down. It's okay if you say, "Excuse me, interpreter needs to interpret," or "Excuse me, please pause." So that way you can control the pace and make sure everything is accurately translated. If you need a break, please do let us know. Is there anything you want to ask us?
All of that sounds good. I'll try my best. I prefer to interpret in person instead of the phone, so I can raise my hand when I need someone to slow down or stop, but we won't have that option, so I may have to interrupt you.
Hey, David, this is Max. Thanks again for helping us out, man. A couple other things to note. We always recommend that you have a notepad and a pen so you can be as accurate as possible.
Great, yes. I've got that right here.
Also, and we'll repeat this again when we start our meeting, but you must pledge to maintain confidentiality because you are volunteering as part of our legal team. What that means is you cannot share anything from this meeting with anyone outside of our legal team. We're going to be talking about a number of really sensitive topics, including domestic violence, and it's important that she feels like she has a safe space.
Correct. I understand.
Okay. Well, if you don't have any further questions for us, let's go back into the interview room. Ready? Hi, Miguel and Josefina. Thank you for your patience. I want to introduce you to David, who's on the phone. He volunteers with our office as an interpreter.
Hola, Miguel y Josefina. Gracias por su paciencia. Quiero presentarles a David, que está en el teléfono y es quien trabaja de voluntario en nuestra oficina como un intérprete. Hola, Josefina, soy David.
Well, we appreciate Miguel helping out with the interpretation. We actually do have a rule in our office that family doesn't interpret unless it's an emergency.
Tenemos una regla en la oficina que dice que no podemos dejar que familiares sirven de intérpretes a menos que sea una emergencia.
Okay, and part of that is mostly because, if we have a family member, we may actually need them in support of your case. Perhaps maybe we'll be a witness that would help out, write a letter in support, and we don't want anyone who will be a witness to also be an interpreter.
Esto es en parte porque varias veces necesitamos trabajar con miembros de la familia, en el caso porque pueden servir como testigos que ayudan y escriben cartas de apoyo. Y no queremos que nadie que pueda servir como testigo sea un intérprete también.
Also, as part of our professional rules as lawyers, we should meet with clients on their own.
También bajo las reglas profesionales para abogados, debemos reunirnos solo con nuestros clientes.
Miguel, thank you so much for your help again. We're sorry we didn't raise this issue earlier. Josefina, we should only be about another 45 minutes, if that still works for you.
Miguel, de nuevo, gracias por su ayuda. Nos disculpamos que no hablamos sobre este problema anteriormente. Nos debe tomar unos 45 minutos adicionales. Si eso está bien con usted, Josefina.
Sí, está bien.
That's fine.
Miguel, can I get you a cup of coffee or some water while you're waiting in the waiting room?
Miguel, ¿le puedo traer una taza de café o un vaso de agua mientras espera en la área de espera? Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Josefina, for your patience.
Josefina, gracias por su paciencia.
As I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons why we don't use an interpreter who is a family or a friend is because everything we talk about in this room is private. We won't discuss anything outside of our legal office without your permission. It's really important for your case that you feel comfortable in.
Un momento, 1 minute to interpret. Como le mencioné anteriormente, una de las razones por la cual queremos usar un intérprete que no es un familiar o un amigo es porque todo lo que hablamos aquí es confidencial. Esto significa que todo lo que nos diga es privado. Nosotros no vamos a decirle nada a nadie que no sea de nuestra oficina legal sin su permiso. Es bien importante para su caso que usted se sienta cómoda. Y Lisa, you can continue.
We want you to be comfortable and totally open with us. David, as a part of our team, will keep everything confidential too.
Queremos que se sienta cómoda y totalmente en confianza con nosotros. David, siendo parte de nuestro equipo, va a mantener todo en privado también.
What can we do to make you more comfortable?
¿Qué podemos hacer para que se sienta más cómoda?
Sí, gracias. Estoy cómoda. Agradezco su ayuda y su apoyo.
I'm comfortable. Thank you for your support. I'm grateful to have your help.
If you need anything, paper, pencil, a break, please let us know. Or if there are any topics you don't want to talk about.
Si necesita algo, papel, lápiz, un descanso, por favor déjenos saber.
Okay.
O si hay algunos temas que no quiera discutir.
Está bien. Solamente que no me gustaría hablar de Carla. Es muy difícil hablar de lo que pasó entre nosotras.
If it's okay, I'd rather not talk about Carla today. It's hard to talk about what happened between us.
We don't have to focus on Carla today. We do need to discuss a little bit more about your history before coming to the States. We will eventually have to talk about the crime you suffered, but we can do that next time.
No tenemos que enfocarnos en Carla hoy. Tenemos algunas preguntas sobre su historia antes de llegar a los Estados Unidos. Eventualmente vamos a tener que hablar del crimen que sufrió, pero podemos hacer eso la próxima vez.
Before we get started, we want to make sure that you understand David the interpreter. Sometimes someone can have an accent or a tone that makes them hard to understand.
Antes de comenzar, queremos asegurarnos que entienda a David, el intérprete. A veces alguien puede tener un acento o un tono que sea difícil de entender.
No, sí lo entiendo. Es bien claro.
No, I understand him very well. He's very clear.
We've asked David to repeat what you say word for word, and he will say exactly what we are telling you. But if you don't understand us or him, let us know.
Le hemos pedido a David que repita todo lo que usted diga, palabra por palabra, y él le va a decir exactamente lo que le digamos a usted. Pero si no nos entiende o a él, déjenos saber.
Okay. We would like to hear about your decision to come to the United States and how you got here.
Queremos escuchar sobre su decisión de venir a los Estados Unidos y cómo llegó aquí.
Fue una decisión muy difícil, pero sabía que para sobrevivir tenía que hacerlo. Mi esposo, él amenazó con matarme. Sabía que yo no lo amaba y me quería controlar. Era como si yo fuera de su propiedad. Sabía de mí, de que yo no quería estar con él y me atacó. Viví varios años así. Pero yo sabía que tenía que dejarlo y encontrar una manera de escapar para salvar mi propia vida. Ahorré dinero y...
I'm so sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Everything you're saying is very important and we don't want to miss anything. David, could you please repeat what I said and then interpret Josefina's answer?
Disculpa, no quiero interrumpirla, pero quiero asegurarme de que no nos perdamos nada de lo que está diciendo porque es bien importante. David, ¿puede repetir lo que le he dicho y después traducir la contestación de Josefina? It was a very difficult decision, but I knew to survive I had to. My husband, he threatened to kill me. He knew I didn't love him, and he wanted to control me. It was like his property. He knew about me, that I didn't want to be with him, and he attacked me. I lived for years like that. But I knew I had to leave, find a way to escape, to save my own life, save money.
Thank you for sharing this with us, Josefina. I know this can be very difficult to talk about. Please try and continue and try to remember to pause for the interpreter. And we were at, you saved money to escape.
Gracias por compartir esto con nosotros, Josefina. Sabemos que es difícil de discutir, pero por favor continúe y trate de acordarse de parar para poder traducir. Usted nos dijo que ahorró dinero para escapar.
Ahorré lo más que pude. Después escuché de alguien en mi pueblo que sabía cómo cruzar, que conocía a la bestia y se aseguraría de que lo lográramos.
Un momento. I'd like to ask the follow-up question because I don't understand what she's saying.
Before clarification, can you interpret what you did understand?
Well, she said she saved as much as she could, but wanted to find someone in the village to help her get through. And it sounded like she said someone who knows the beast, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. As a reminder, try to remember to use I instead of she.
Oh, right.
We want to ask you to clarify what you just said. Did you say something about someone who knows the beast? Well, who is the beast?
Queremos pedirle que aclare lo que nos acaba de decir. Usted dijo que alguien que conoce la bestia. ¿Quién es la bestia?
La bestia es el tren que nos lleva a través de México. Es peligroso. Personas pierden la vida al caer del tren y hay criminales y pandillas que se aprovechan de los inmigrantes tratando de llegar a salvo. Tenemos muy poca esperanza para empezar y la bestia puede acabar con todo. Fue un viaje terrible, pero lo logramos.
Un momento. The beast is the train that takes us through Mexico. It's dangerous. People lose their lives who fall off, and there are criminals and gangs who take advantage of immigrants who are trying to make their way to safety. We have so little hope as it is, and the beast can take it all away. It was a terrible journey, but I made it.
Josefina, you've really been through a lot. We want to talk more about your trip, but do you need a break?
Josefina, ha pasado por muchas cosas. Queremos hablar más sobre el viaje, pero ¿quiere tomarse un descansito?
Sí, por favor. ¿Tienen un baño?
Yes, please. Is there a bathroom?